Hello, YouTube. I am Vince White. I'm an employment attorney, and normally on this channel, we answer publicly posted questions from YouTube users, getting folks the answers they need from an employment attorney. But today, that's not what we're doing. We're talking about two laws in New York, one in New York City, one on the state level in New York, which are seeking to end at-will employment. That may be very interesting to you. You might say to yourself, or you might be saying to yourself, what is at-will employment? Okay. At-will employment, really quick, and we have other videos on the channel about this, but at-will employment essentially means that you can be terminated for any non-discriminatory reason or no reason at all. You can't be terminated because of sexual harassment. You can't be terminated because of discrimination. You can't be terminated because of certain forms of retaliation, but generally speaking, for virtually any other reason, you could be terminated. And it can be nothing. You can just walk in and your boss can say, like, let's say I walk into work tomorrow and my boss says, Vince, your stupid face. I can't look at it another day. I can't. You're done. You pack your shit up and go. Believe it or not, legal. You would make it illegal? That boss says, Vince, I can't look at your stupid Irish face. Oh, we now have a national origin discrimination claim. Fair enough. That's a claim now. That's the difference, right? But at will employment, again, any reason, any non-discriminatory reason or no reason at all, generally speaking, that termination is going to be legal. So what New York State and New York City are simultaneously both trying to get through their various legislatures is a departure from that system, which would make them, I believe, the first state in the United States, or in New York City's case, possibly the first city. I don't know. There's a lot more cities, to depart from at-will employment. And what they're going to say is that to be terminated, an employer needs good cause to terminate someone. This is going to be very similar to what folks who are familiar with unions see when terminations come around, right? The employer might try to terminate, and then the employee gets to file a grievance and says, hey, you're not terminating me for a good reason. I should be able to keep my job. And then they argue about it. There's a grievance process and potentially even an arbitration that may or may not lead to that person being terminated or vindicated and brought back to work. Now, that is essentially what New York State and New York City are both simultaneously trying to do here. And it's very interesting for a variety of reasons. It's going to have a 6-year statute of limitations. And it looks, from my reading of it, like there's going to be a private cause of action. So you can sue. If you're wrongly discharged without good cause, you can sue, potentially for monetary damages and try to make some money for up to 6 years. Now, is that good for employees? Yes. I believe it is. Is it good for me? People are like, oh, Vince, you're going to have so much business. No, it's going to be terrible for me because people are going to come from my industry as New York slowly falls apart. And New York's already falling apart, but as it falls apart more rapidly, people are going to say, you employment attorneys are the ones who did this with your stupid good cause termination lawsuits. It's going to be very hard to fire people. Now, generally speaking, I think unions are amazing. But there is one downside to unions. And any union worker who's being honest will tell you this. Unions are incredible. They keep people safe. They create better working conditions. They create situations where employees can collectively bargain and get better situations, better compensation. They're amazing. The one and only downfall that I'm aware of unions is, I guess, corruption, but more importantly, that bad employees stick around because they can't be fired. It's very hard to fire them because the union fights tooth and nail if you have a good union. Half of all unions are good unions. And that union will go to bat for these employees and keep just the worst employees employed. Not great, because now all the good employees get screwed, having to do all the work for the bad employee who's hanging around barely doing her or his job. That's the exact drawback that will be set in place by this law, unfortunately, right? You're going to have a lot of people who maybe shouldn't have their jobs lingering around. Takes a couple of years to fire them. You got to paper everything. They're doing just enough to get by. This, that. It's a big fight, right? So you're going to have bad employees just hanging around, not doing their jobs, and you're going to end up doing their job for them. That's what's going to happen. That's the downside to this. The upside to this is you can have some level of security at your job. You can say to yourself, hey, as long as there's not a good business reason why I should be terminated, I can be here for the rest of my life. That's beautiful. If you love your job, you like what you do, and you want to stay, this is an amazing protection. This is really important and valuable, right? But it is going to have a downside. Two downsides, as I mentioned. One, bad employees are going to linger. Two, people are going to get pitchforks and come and try to burn down my office in New York. They're going to say, this was you, Vince. This was you. And I'm telling you right now, it wasn't me. I didn't do this. I didn't do it. It wasn't me. Say it wasn't so. But they're not going to care. They're going to have pitchforks and torches, and they're going to try to burn me. So if this passes, and I'm sure it's going to pass eventually on one level or another, because New York is New York, and New York is New York, right? Eventually, this will get by, either in the city or in the state level. And it's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be real fun to watch, and we'll make some money representing folks using this law. And then when people get ready to come after us, and us, I mean employment attorneys, I'll be fleeing back to New Hampshire where that law is not in effect and people won't be mad at me. So I'm all for it. Let's do it. Take care, everyone. I hope you're having a great weekend, and like and subscribe. Helps me to help more people just like you. I will link the article about this down below. And remember, everybody works. Not everybody wins.